The focus of our projects was really to support what I would call strengthening of the governance and management effectiveness within the Savans Bay area. Savans Bay is located within the Point Sab Environmental Protection Area along the southeast coast of St. Lucia. And within Savans Bay, it is recognized as having what I call Ramsar sites, very critical coastal mangroves, network of coral reefs, and seagrass meadows. But it's also recognized as a very lucrative and active fish landing area in Vieux Fort. There's some ecotourism interests, and of recently surge in aquaculture interest, basically sea moss farming. And so recognizing post-COVID, of course, the economic pressures that came about as a result of loss of employment, lack of mobility of the local residents, we saw a surge in sea moss farms and cultivation within Savans Bay. With the increase in the number of farms and their size and locations without any structural regulation, there was a high probability of user conflict among the fishers, sea moss farmers, ecotourism interests, and even locals who would want to enjoy the bay at will. The fact that as well that there, again, anyone from anywhere could come in and establish a sea moss farm at any location. It also meant that there was no discrimination or discretion with regards to where these farms are placed and their size. We also saw that there was an impact on the seagrass meadows, because with sea moss farming, it's basically you walk the sea bed to maintain your farms and to harvest. And then traditionally we use the local roundwood. Now that is harvested in coastal vegetation areas, and obviously there is an impact with that. I mean, normally you would not have such a high demand use or exploitation of that resource, but because of the surge in the number of sea moss farms in the area, then you had a heavy demand and of course heavy extraction of these coastal forests and vegetation. So our attempt was, one, to see how much we could contribute to a much more regulated or managed regime in terms of the use of the space, trying to establish zones where, certain activities would be permissible, mostly in terms of sea moss farming, but also to create some semblance of order in the area. And not only were we trying to address zones, but also bring more awareness to the value of the Savans Bay area in terms of its ecological value, but also that things could be done more sustainably. There is still not yet what we would call satisfactory authoritative regime for management of Savans Bay and the wider Pasepa area. Now, there are processes that are ongoing that the project would have contributed to with regards to the need for the zoning of the area to bring some semblance of order in the use of the spaces. The discussions, of course, would include things like granting licenses and certification to sea moss farmers and other users so that they are recognized as having the right to be there. This project, along with other projects, did some kind of collaborations in terms of trying to get to the same path whereby we would have some kind of zones that could have been established to identify which are the areas that are permissible for sea moss farming, establish lanes for water vessels to navigate safely within the bay without encroaching on these sea moss farms that have been established, and of course creating zones that would act as buffers to safeguard some of the habitat interests or the ecosystems that are in the area. The fact that we are able to demarcate the navigational lanes is a win for the project and a win for Savans Bay itself. We also, of course, certifying sea moss farmers in sustainable sea moss practice, which is good. The St. Lucia National Conservation Fund, we have made a commitment to continue with the project activities and project goals because it's part of our mandate to secure livelihoods, but also to secure biodiversity and ensuring that there is what we call sustainable use of the natural resources in St. Lucia, but also see how we can engage users in those patterns that will allow this balance to continue. So we are grateful for the opportunity to have implemented this project. I must say thanks to the Department of Fisheries, Export St. Lucia, and of course to the BIOPAMA team for their help in seeing that this project advances in the way that it did. Thank you.